So who's the best visual storyteller of all time? Is it Steven Spielberg, Cecil B. DeMille, Barnum Bailey? Could it be Walt Disney? Could it even be, if we go back to traditional art, static art, not movies, could it be Leonardo da Vinci? Could it be Michelangelo? Or if we go back thousands of years ago, could it be a shaman in a Sand people's tribe in South Africa doing rock paintings thousands of years ago? It could be any of these. They're all awesome examples of, visual storytellers. But here's one I want to throw out at you that you might not think about. Nickname of the Da Vinci of Detroit. So who was the Da Vinci of Detroit? A guy by the name of Harley Earl. And Harley Earl is actually the guy who invented the auto show. Originally it was called Motorama. And nobody had ever done anything like that before. It was a huge hit, and that's why we see what we have here today. A big component of it was what he called dream cars. Today we call them concept cars. And that was one of the big draws. So why did people go to car shows or go to Motorama originally? Well, they went to see the future. Because this car show is a perfect example of an awesome visual story. And what I like to also say is has all the components of television built into it. So one of the things about visual storytelling is it has to have three main components. And I like to call it tell-a-vision. So a good visual story is all about what I call tell-a-vision. The first part of that, the word tell, is all about the soundtrack that goes with a good visual story. Like right now I'm talking to you as you're watching a video. That's the soundtrack. The music, the voice. As Steven Spielberg used to say that 50% of a movie is the sound, or 50% of a video is the sound. The second part of television is the word A, or rather the letter A. And the letter A stands for animation. A good visual story has to be animated. Right now you see my face moving. When we think of the car show, wow, the amount of animation here is incredible. You get to walk around and provide your own animation, but there's a lot of other animation going on here as well. The final piece of that television is the word vision. Of course, that's the key component for a good visual story. All visual stories are based on some vision. Here we've got a huge number of new model cars which provide the vision, and especially the concept cars, or as Harley Earl used to call the dream cars. They provide the visual story base of what we're trying to do. So, television, car show, or as Harley Earl used to call it, Motorama, has all the components of television, a great visual story. So this is actually Harley Earl's car, believe it or not. And it's actually his second most famous prototype, or as he used to call it, dream car or concept car. His first most famous one was the Y Job, a famous Buick. But this is actually called the Sabre, and it was so far ahead of its time when it was created. And after they were finished putting it on tour on, Motorama, the car shows going around the country, it then actually became Harley Earl's own personal car for driving back and forth to work. He actually drove it around the Detroit area. So it's pretty cool that actually Harley Earl's car is here at the Toronto Auto Show, because this is one of the foundations of the modern auto show right here, and the foundation of incredible visual storytelling through the design of cars. So think about organizations and when they create visions. Just that word vision for an organization is kind of an issue for me, because what do? They create something that's basically 100% words. They're not real visions. And how are they ever going to inspire somebody with something like that? So for me, an organizational vision needs to be just that, something that's visual, something that takes it to a visual level, creating some kind of a visual talisman of the future of where you're going and what you want the organization to be. So think about that for a minute, and think about the inspiration from a car show. What about the emotional component you get from that visual piece here, and the animation, the whole television piece of it? That's lacking in corporate and organizational visions. But think if you were to do that, think in those terms and create basically your own autorama or motorama for your organizational vision, something that people so emotionally grabbed onto that it was almost irresistible for them to be able to get that vision for the organization. visual storyteller ever. It doesn't really matter, because he was just simply an awesome visual storyteller. He had all the aspects of a great visual story down, you know, from the tell, soundtrack, and Motorama, to the A of television, animation. I mean, there's so much animation in this show here. And then finally, the vision piece. Again, being, you know, the father of the concept car, clay modeling, introducing so many of the new original dream cars, which we call concept cars now. His whole process design studio was just one massive, beautiful enterprise around the vision piece and visual storytelling. So here's the deal. We actually have Harley Earl here today to talk to us. The real Da Vinci of Detroit. Now, I'm not kidding you. Through the advent of time-space travel, I actually have Harley Earl here. So help me give a real big warm welcome